Today we are looking at one of the most significant and premature Arctic breakthroughs in recent years. This is not just a cold snap, it's an event that is rewriting records, and we need to be prepared for it. We have examined American, European, and Canadian models, analyzed 7 key analogous winters since 1989, and here's what it means for your backyard and for your family. A potential Arctic blast in the next 48 hours. Let's start with the hottest, or rather, the coldest, news. The jet stream deep has played its part, and Arctic air is now dominating. Record lows and highs will also be relevant this week. The system affecting us is the result of an extreme meridional flow in the jet stream, forming a deep trough all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. This effectively pumps air masses directly from the Canadian Arctic. In many areas of the central and northern plains, air temperatures will drop by 30 degrees within a 12 to 24-hour period. From this video, this is a very rapid and potentially dangerous transition that requires you to prepare immediately and be ready for sudden changes. Now, regarding potential temperature anomalies today and tomorrow. Today, abnormally low temperatures, 30 degrees below average, are being observed in the Mississippi Valley, Tennessee, and Kentucky. This is creating conditions for snow, precipitation even in these southern latitudes. We will talk about this in more detail later. Tomorrow will be the peak of the cold snap. Cold air will cover the entire East Coast from Maine to Florida. In some areas of the southeast, temperatures are expected to be 30 or even 35 degrees below the seasonal average. We are also focusing our attention on the south, where the rarest part of this phenomenon is occurring, namely the advance of the freezing line. That is, the line where the average temperature drops to 32 degrees is moving deep into the south. Let's quickly go over the main regions. Central Texas and Mississippi will experience freezing and a drop in temperature to 32 degrees tomorrow morning. This is 10 to 14 days earlier than the average date of the first frost. Next, we have northern and central Florida. In this region, there is a risk of frost, and we expect about 20 new record low temperatures just in Florida alone. In Orlando, Florida, it will be around 38 degrees on Wednesday morning. This will be a very low temperature, typical for January, not for mid-November. In Jacksonville, Florida, it will be a very cold morning, around 34 degrees, and there is a high likelihood of dropping below the freezing point. Knoxville, Tennessee, Wednesday, a morning low of 24 degrees, dangerously low temperatures. There may be a need to protect exposed pipes. If you have any exposed plumbing somewhere in your yard, please take care of it, because it could freeze and get damaged. An important warning for the southeast. This is the coldest weather in a very long time. Especially at this time of year, in November, it's very rare to see this kind of weather pattern. Even along the Florida coast, temperatures could reach as low as 35 degrees. Now let's talk about the double hit. Cold both during the day and at night. As you might have guessed, the cold doesn't let up even during the day. We're talking about record low maximum temperatures. The coldest high for this day has been recorded. Today, the band of record cold highs stretches from western New York all the way to the Gulf Coast. In Ohio, Kentucky, and eastern Tennessee, temperatures are only in the 30s. And in northern Georgia, many areas probably won't get out of the low 40s until the end of winter. That's exceptionally cold. For November, tomorrow almost all of Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina are expecting record cold highs. You need to be prepared for this and warn your loved ones. Florida, daytime temperatures only in the 50s. That's a month earlier than expected. In other words, the temperatures that should have come in a month are already here today, they'll be here tomorrow and throughout this week. I would also like to issue a key warning to all farmers in the United States. This double blow, nighttime frost, and the inability to warm up during the day creates critical conditions for sensitive, vegetative, and late autumn crops. These plants need immediate protection because we could lose the harvest. Please take care of your farm. Now about the snow potential. A detailed analysis of accumulation. Snowfall is accompanying this Arctic outbreak. The main focus at the moment is on two factors. These are the first snow in the south and the extreme lake effect. An interesting fact. This morning and during the day, light and moderate snow is observed in Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, and other states. Snow pellets are being recorded as far south as Nashville, Tennessee. If Nashville records measurable snowfall, meaning accumulation, it will be the first time in recorded history that snow falls in Nashville before Denver, Colorado. This has never happened before. This is strong evidence of an abnormal shift in the polar air mass. In Kentucky and eastern Tennessee, there may be a coating on elevated surfaces and locally up to half an inch of snow. Extreme lake effect snow is the most serious snow-related threat, caused by cold northern winds blowing over the warm open waters of the Great Lakes, with expected accumulation over 48 hours. This is in addition to the snow that has already fallen. Indiana and Michigan, 5 to 10 inches is basically a jackpot zone, because certain locations could potentially get 15 inches or more of snow, depending on the persistence of the snow band. The greatest impact will be on highways I-94 and I-80 to 90. If you're planning to travel, be cautious. Lake Erie region, Northeast Ohio, and Pennsylvania. There, 4 to 7 inches of intense, localized snow bands are possible. This will seriously impact visibility and driving conditions in the region. In the Lake Ontario area, Overtown, New York, 6 to 12 inches and prolonged lake effect snow will continue through Thursday morning. An important warning. Lake effect snow is known for its intensity and localized nature, meaning that a very heavy snowfall can occur in a small area, which can affect both road conditions and the lives of certain groups of citizens. Conditions can change from clear skies to a snowstorm in a matter of minutes. This is the main risk for travel in the region. Stay alert. Now let's move on to the long-term forecast. Winter 25-26 analytical justification. Even after this Arctic cold retreats by mid-Friday, we move on to analyzing the entire winter, supported by climate models. What do I mean by that? First of all, it's the synchronization of climate signals. Our forecast is based on a systematic approach that includes 3 powerful atmospheric forces, which are now synchronized. These include first, the elusive La Niña, a weak signal that promotes a northern track for storms and cold in the north or warm weather in the south. The PDO, or Pacific Decadal Oscillation, is a key factor currently in its strongest negative phase in many years. A negative PDO amplifies the effect of a weak La Niña, doubling the likelihood of a northern storm track. And the third factor is the polar vortex. Signals from the QBO, or quasi-biennial oscillation, indicate instability in the stratosphere, which historically leads to major Arctic outbreaks. Outbreaks that push deep into the south, as happened during the analog winter of December 1980. Upcoming storms and analysis of their potential. The cold will begin to retreat by Wednesday through Friday, but the weather will remain active. There are 2 major systems on the horizon. An atmospheric river, from Wednesday to Friday. A powerful atmospheric river, AR, is forming on the west coast. Its location is the Pacific and Pacific Northwest, that is, the Washington and Oregon region. And the potential consequences that this river may cause are heavy rain and high wind activity. In the mountains, such as the Cascades and Sierra Nevada, there could be dozens of inches of snow. This will bring much needed moisture, but at the same time, it increases the risk of local landslides and flooding. This moisture and energy crossing the mountains from the west will become the catalyst for the next major nationwide storm system. As for the upcoming weekend, our models, particularly the GFC model, are aggressively simulating the development of a powerful low-pressure system at the end of the week. The timing is focused on Friday evening and Saturday morning. The system is expected to form over Texas and Oklahoma, and by Saturday, it could affect the southern plains. There is also a high probability of severe weather returning. We're talking about the risk of damaging winds, large hail, and potential tornadoes in the southern plains and the Mississippi Valley. In the east, on Sunday and Monday, the system will move eastward. This could lead to heavy rain and possible snow. There may be freezing rain on the northern side of the system, especially in the upper Midwest and New England. Some models indicate the potential for a nor'easter, but this remains highly unusual at this stage. In conclusion to this episode, we can say that we are transitioning from abnormal cold to a very active, dynamic weather pattern. Stay tuned for updates on this system, as it is very likely to affect more than 50 million residents of the United States. I would also like to issue a few priority warnings and tell you that this is not a typical November. The weather this November will be very different from what it was last year. The next 48 hours require our attention and a great deal of vigilance on your part. All freeze warnings 32 degrees are active and in effect. Protect your plants, bring your animals inside, and check the outdoor faucets at your homes. As for travel, avoid unnecessary trips this weekend, especially in areas with lake effect snow. That means northwestern Indiana and western New York. Visibility may drop to zero, especially in areas with localized snowfall. There will also be extreme cold in some regions. Prepare for record low daytime highs, especially in the southeast. We will continue to provide daily analytical updates. Stay safe and see you tomorrow. Goodbye.